Good day and welcome to the Sport Rep Show. This is your host Jesse Jackson Kauraitha with your latest Monday review show. And now for your latest on the hit list. Newly elected Netball Namibia President Rebecca Nekundi-Gwagoses has vowed that the new board will work hard for netball development in the country. This is after Netball Namibia elected Seu Gavasep as Technical Director and Connie Samaria as Vice in Strategic Affairs. In addition, Rebecca Nekundi-Gwagoses was chosen as President and Marvelous Kaibes Oscar was chosen as Vice President in Development for the next 4 years at the association's AGM on Saturday. Rebecca Nekundi replaces former President Lydia Mutenda, who had been at the helm of Netball Namibia for 2 years. Nekundi-Gwagoses, who previously served as Vice President of the Marketing Board for Netball Namibia, also holds the position of Vice President for Netball Africa. Planning for the future, she thanked the board for entrusting her with her responsibility of taking over as President. The board further aims at improving the technical abilities of coaches and umpires in the country. Dimitri Bitler from the Commerce Region Netball Structures welcomed the new board. Bitler said he was optimistic about the president they selected and hopes that she can bring upon change within the netball fraternity. He feels that there is more to be done, especially if they are to cater for all regions. We will now go for a short break, and after that it will be the weekend drop. Namibian boxer Philemon Gutenyane said he had to improvise to secure a victory after injuring his right hand in the first round of his title defense. Gutenyane successfully defended his WBA Pan-Africa title after beating Ali Ngwando of Tanzania by a TKO in the 7th round. Emmanuel Joseph defended his WBO Africa flyweight title after beating South Africa's Titeto Motisaftife by a unanimous decision in a fight that was stopped in the 6th round following a bad cut to Joseph's forehead. Harry Simon Jr. defeated Lembani Chikapa of Malawi by a 2nd round TKO after Lembani threw in the towel. Here is footage from the Salute Academy boxing event.
MTC Salute Promotion for the opportunity. When I take my team for the hard dedication, and when I take everyone that came out there, support me, the fans, love you all.
Before you go, Shem, can you just break down for us what was your thought process during this fight? Because at some point I felt like you were struggling to get his number. You were struggling to unfold him. What was going through your head?
I hate myself in the first round. I hate my right hand and I'm right-handed. So I don't want to lose it like I have to. I've used my left mostly and I practice in the gym how to use left hand. But he was protecting himself. I will not get him. He is that's why I was looking for an opponent. I got the opportunity. I took it.
What was the strategy going into this fight?
The strategy was putting down, but I tried and I did it.
All right, congratulations again. It was a good fight.
Imperial Wanderers Cricket Club 1 and Windhoek High School Old Boys Cricket Club 1 respectively won their one-day Premier League clashes in the capital versus the MR 24/7 Witches, and CCD Tigers won by 8 wickets and 84 runs on Saturday. The Witches at Wanderers in Pioneers Park won the toss and elected to bat first, scoring 116 runs for the loss of 10 wickets in 31 overs. Premier League soccer finally returned in style with Fly 11 Arrows and Flowing Blue Waters started in Walvis Bay after Debmarine Namibia committed 13 million towards the season. The first soccer derby between the two coastal giants produced an intense, closely contested and action-packed soccer match for football fans at the Jan Vulcan Stadium on Saturday. The fiercely contested Debmarine Namibia Premier League soccer match finished with a goalless draw. Backed by a vibrant and full-capacity crowd, the Beautiful Birds, under the mentorship of Lucky Shipanga, launched numerous attacks but could not get the ball past Arrows keeper Denzel Shafetango into the back of the net. So guess what? The FIFA 2022 World Cup in Qatar is about to kick off, and Sport Rep's special World Cup segment begins today. In this segment, we will be doing interviews and previews of the biggest football showpiece. Oscar Heiter is our first guest, and this is what he had to say after the break. Well, Oscar Heiter, the World Cup is starting and I can see a smile on your face. I remember you've always been on this show speaking about the Premier League, but now you are being baptized, that is for the World Cup. What is your views and what do you think, what can we expect in Qatar 2022?
Okay, of course it's the World Cup, which is the world's most revered sport event. So of course, what can we expect other than cracking football actions? I know there's been the build up to this World Cup, there's been a lot of negative stories and all that thing, but it's here and countries have announced their squad, so we are looking forward to it, and I'm very much excited for the World Cup to start.
Okay, looking at the squads that have been announced, where do you think, or who would you put your money on?
Usually for me I go with underdogs, but it will be ignorant of me not to acknowledge countries that have very good players. I mean, I would say maybe France, Brazil, England, maybe. I think all of the Netherlands, all those countries have depth in their squad, so I expect them to be up there, or at least go further in the competition.
Well, if you look at the players that will be there, who are some of the players you think are going to really shine?
Yeah, this is a very hard question because we have such a plethora of players that could shine. With Messi, of course, Messi will be there and he will be working hard to get this competition, because this is one of the competitions that people have been saying that he cannot really be called the greatest of all time if he hasn't won a World Cup with his country. So I think Messi will be one of the players to look forward to, and then Ronaldo also. Those are some of the players who have a point to prove.
Well,
and,
yeah. We look at countries like Brazil that have always been deemed as favorites going into this tournament. Well, they have always struggled in beating teams as well at the World Cup, especially good tactical European sides. Well, this time around they come again with a very talented squad, the likes of Vinicius Jr., Neymar Jr., Antony, a lot of players, the likes of Casemiro will be there. You have Richarlison, you have Gabriel Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus. All these players are very talented players. Do you, in any, has it appeared in any of the back of your mind that they could possibly, this could be their year after only winning this tournament in 2002?
Yeah, yes, I'm pretty sure they will try to recapture that what their country have achieved before in the past, but so other countries, and usually countries that have have a lot of stars in their team don't perform well at the World Cup because there's always pressure. And the thing is, when people play for their country, they play their heart out, and so that's why it's always hard for big teams to even beat the not so popular country when it comes to football. So I know Brazil has a very good squad, and they are also one of the teams that are, as I mentioned earlier, that they are the favorite because of the talent they have. But I can tell you, the World Cup is one of the competition where each team that's going there, they are not just going there for a walk or for participation purpose. They are going to show what their country is capable of.
We have African countries also, and Africa has never won a World Cup before. Do you think that is about to be broken, that curse that has been there? Or I mean, we have the likes of Senegal, we have the likes of Cameroon, we have the likes of, that is Egypt, not Egypt, but the Morocco. We have the likes of Tunisia. It's still a formidable squad, that, or a group of teams that are going to the World Cup. What do you say?
Yes, especially African countries, they will be the country that I will be backing fully this year, each one of them. But my money is more on Senegal and maybe Ghana perhaps, because I don't know about Ghana, but I'm betting Senegal. I know Mane is not going to participate because he got injured so just recently, which is unfortunate. But for me, Senegal, through what they have showed during the previous African Cup of Nations, and also just throughout the qualifying phases of the African region, World Cup qualifying period. So for me, they seems to be the team that can actually put up a surprise, and really, and also the team that will embody that African fight. And I think Senegal, for me, are the African team to look forward to.
Okay. Sadio Mane was included, although he's still injured. He was included in the squad. Let's hope that there could be a miracle and he will play probably a part in Senegal's success, because he's still injured, and they probably just took a chance to let him, to see whether he might improve. They said they will use witch doctors and all just to get him ready for that. Thank you so much, Oscar. As the tournament continues, we'll have more of you, and maybe hear in terms of how teams are doing there. I know it's not Arsenal playing, but there are a lot of Arsenal players in this World Cup. So, and Arsenal went into the 6-week World Cup break on top of the Premier League, which is the reason why you must be also smiling today.
It is the reason I'm smiling.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Jesse and Sportweb, for having me.
Well, thank you to our sponsors, SuperSport, MTC, DSTV, and as well as ShopRite for making this possible. It will indeed be a great World Cup journey, and we are all excited. From me, Jesse Jackson Kauraiza, I will have to love and leave you. But first, Brian Munango is up next. But before him, it will be the cricket segment, which also says goodbye today. It will be the last one. We know that England won the World Cup, that is yesterday. So Brian Munango will be up next. First is the cricket, and then Ariel Hart. Over to you, Brian.
I'm gonna cross that river, Jordan. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Also, welcome to the Sport Rep Show. The Cricket World Cup is kicking off on Sunday. We have Namibia in the mix as well. Tell us a little bit about DSTV's involvement in Cricket Namibia, or rather the support that DSTV is giving to Cricket Namibia.
Okay, so in terms of our involvement and support to Cricket Namibia, it's just that at DSTV we want to really support our local teams that are taking part in international events by broadcasting them. And the Cricket T20 will be broadcast on DSTV. And what we're trying to do is just really focus on the Richelieu Eagles in our advertising of cricket on the platform, so that the public is aware that our team is participating and that you can watch them. We believe, like NMH also believes, that if we can support our team through the media and make people are aware of them participating, then we can follow them. And by following them, we can support them on all of our media platforms to really get them to where they need to go. Because a team that has support from its home country goes a lot further. So Sunday, the 16th of October, is when our team will be playing Sri Lanka, and you can tune in to watch it on our platform. And I know NMH are also doing a lot of things in the print publications, on the digital publications, and on network TV to really get everybody rallied around the team to support them to go so much further, because that support from our communities can really get a team so much further. We have a tough game against Sri Lanka, but we are 100% behind them, and we want you to watch them on DSTV. We want them to follow through the papers, through the digital pages, through everything that NMH is doing in order for us to follow the games and keep score. And that's really our involvement, is really just to drum up the support from the communities through watching and following the journey of the Eagles through the T20.
All right, now speaking about cricket in general, previously known as a men's game, just like football, you're female. Are you going to be watching the match? Is this going to be your first time watching cricket? Just tell us a little bit about that.
It's not my first time watching cricket. I had to be the last time the Namibian team took part in a big international event. We also, through DSTV Business, held engagements through our commercial customers at bars and pubs to watch the games in the same way like we're doing now. So during that time, I was forced to learn some of the rules, ask what an over is, what a wicket is, those kind of things, because it was unknown to me. So I went through a learning experience, so I have a little bit of knowledge. I won't lie, I'm still not 100 on some of the ways that this works, and it takes so long, but I understand the T20 is much easier to follow, and NMH is putting together a lot of paraphernalia through their publications to help you to follow in that scoring and various days, and who's up on the leaderboard and who's down, and all of those things. So I think there's a lot of help in understanding what it is about, so that it becomes everybody's game. I mean, we're very proud of the Namibian team. They've proven again and again that they've gone through all of the challenges and done the works to achieve what they've been able to achieve. They're deserving of our support, and we should do that to grow it even more. And I think the more we support the communities, the more there'll be an understanding of cricket among women and just people in general, because it is I think it's always been like a niche group of people that watches cricket, but I think that's broadening, and I think it's Cricket Namibia that's helping to grow the appetite for cricket in our country through this.
I'm gonna cross that river, Jordan. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Thank you very much there, Jesse. Well, this weekend was indeed an insightful, a beautiful weekend full of football that is. This week, the junior age groups under 9, 11, 12, and 13 had the spotlight in the MTC Hopsol Youth Soccer League that took place. That is, the season ended with a bang, great with good finals indeed. Apologies there, as we had the playoffs that took part, and the finals were topped off with end of the season prize giving, which all the outstanding players awarded trophies for their hard work throughout the season. We still have the under 19s that we have to watch play, and we still have a lot of football coming your way. And with that, we've come to the end of Spotify, and that's it from us today. We will be joined after this by Ariochad. Just stay tuned for that.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news. On the WTA, that's the women's side of world tennis, it was the finals of the Billie Jean King Cup. It was the old Fed Cup, and the winners for the 2022 season is Switzerland. They won their first title ever. They lost in the final against Russia last year, and now this year they beat Australia in the final, and they beat them by 2 matches to nil. No need for the doubles. It was the 2 singles games that clinched it for Switzerland against Australia. It was Jill Teichmann of Switzerland that beat Storm Sanders of Australia by 6-3, 4-6 and 6-3 in the final, and then to clinch it, it was Belinda Bencic, the world number 12, that beat Alja Tomljanovic of Australia by 6-2 and 6-1. So convincing win for Switzerland. In the semi-final, Switzerland beat Czech Republic, and Australia came through to the final, beating Great Britain. And continuing with tennis news, on the ATP men's finals that's currently being played in Turin in Italy, the 8 best players in the world playing in the season-ending finals, and it was Taylor Fritz of the USA that beat Rafael Nadal in their group game. He beat him by 7-6 and 6-1. Taylor Fritz came into the tournament because world number 1 Carlos Alcaraz, he unfortunately is injured and he had to withdraw from the tournament. Other result is Felix Auger-Aliassime of Canada that lost. He lost to Casper Ruud of Norway. Casper Ruud winning that game 7-6 and 6-4. It's Rafael Nadal that's trying to win this tournament for the first time in his career. He lost in 2 finals in 2010 and 2013 at the ATP finals. I never won it before. He needs to win all these remaining games that will be against Felix Auger-Aliassime and Casper Ruud in his group. On the other side of the group, it will be Novak Djokovic and Daniil Medvedev being favourites to go through to the semi-final later in the week. Continuing with golf news, and starting off with the women's LPGA, it is Nelly Korda that is back on number one ranked player in the world. That's after winning the LPGA Pelican Championship, and she won it by 1 shot. It was reduced to 3 rounds because of weather. She came in with a total of -14 for the 3 rounds, and beating Lexi Thompson of the USA by 1 shot. It was Nelly Korda that came in with scores of 66 and 66 and then 64 in her 3rd round. It's her 8th career title. In a tied for 37th, the best placed Southern African player was Ashley Buhai of South Africa on -1. On the men's PGA, it was the Houston Open, the Cadence Bank Houston Open that was played, and there it was Tony Finau of the USA that came out as the winner, and it was Tyson Alexander of the USA in 2nd place. And then on the DP World Tour, the European Tour, it was the Nedbank Challenge played at Sun City, and it was Tommy Fleetwood of England that won the tournament. He defended his title successfully, and that was the 40th edition of the Nedbank Challenge being played at the Sun City Golf Course and the Gary Player Country Club, and it was the 6th DP World Tour win of his career for Tommy Fleetwood. In 2nd position was Ryan Fox of New Zealand, and the best South African was tied for 5th, that is Christian Besaidnout on 7 under par. And continuing international sports news with Formula 1 racing news, it will be this coming weekend, the last Formula 1 Grand Prix of the season, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, but lots to race for still, especially for 2nd place. Max Verstappen of Red Bull already the winner of the individual title, and Red Bull already the Constructors Champion, but there's a big fight, a big tussle for overall 2nd place in the individual racing category. It is, at the moment, it is Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc, both on 290 points. Charles Leclerc of Ferrari and Sergio Perez of Red Bull. Controversy for the Red Bull team in what happened in Brazil. That was the Brazilian Grand Prix the last weekend with George Russell of Mercedes winning that. But the controversy was that Max Verstappen did not allow Sergio Perez to pass him on the last corner to gain 2 extra points. That was the team instructions. And apparently Max Verstappen said he's not going to discuss it with the media, and he said that is about something that happened in the past. So not a good atmosphere at the moment in the Red Bull Racing team. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk again tomorrow. Goodbye.